is Evelyn Blackwood, and tonight I invite you to step softly with me into a world where shadows do not always behave as expected. Somewhere in the Nevada desert, far from highways and towns that hum with life, lie Somnus, a settlement almost forgotten by time. The air is cool and still, carrying the faint scent of sage and dry earth. Before we begin our journey, take a moment to find comfort. Lie down or settle into your chair. Close your eyes. If you wish, take a slow, deep breath, feeling the air fill your chest and expand gently through your lungs. Exhale, releasing any tension, any thoughts of the day, letting your mind begin to drift. This is your bedtime story, your sleep story, a relaxing story designed to carry you softly into dream. Somnus Vale is visible now in the distance, framed by the gentle rise of sand dunes. Its wooden structures, worn by sun and wind, lean slightly as if whispering to one another in the quiet night. Dust swirls over the streets, creating faint, shifting patterns illuminated by the soft silver of moonlight. Each window reflects a faint glow, though the town is long abandoned. Every step toward it carries you deeper into a memory you did not know you possessed, a place where the ordinary and the strange meet in perfect stillness. The wind carries subtle sounds, a faint creak of a door hinge, the whisper of a shutter moving against its frame, the distant sigh of a bell. These sounds are not alarming. They are comforting, rhythmic, almost like the soft heartbeat of the desert itself. Imagine standing there, listening to the quiet symphony of Somnus Vale, letting it fill you with calm. The desert dunes rise and fall like gentle waves, their curves smooth under the moonlight, dust drifting lazily across their surfaces. The air is crisp, yet soft, brushing your skin like a whisper, reminding you that you are safe. Caleb, the man who has wandered through this desert with a secret weighing upon him, steps onto the soft sand at the town's edge. His boots sink slightly with each movement, marking a path that vanishes behind him, as if the land itself prefers memories to remain fleeting. His eyes scan the town, taking in the abandoned saloons, the chapel, the small row of houses that seem to watch silently. Even as he moves cautiously, there is a rhythm to his steps, a quiet connection with the environment around him. This is a town of secrets, but it does not rush. It waits, patient, inviting, allowing him and you, listener, to enter gently. Notice how the sand shifts under the wind, glittering faintly under the starlight. Every step feels intentional yet effortless. Let your body relax with each exhale. Feel the weight of your limbs softening, your shoulders releasing tension, your mind settling like the sand itself. The night sky above Somnus Vale is clear, dotted with stars, stretching endlessly in every direction. The crescent moon casts pale, coziest light, illuminating wooden walls and stone paths, creating gentle shadows that stretch long and thin across the streets. Some shadows seem to move just slightly out of sync with their objects, hinting at mysteries yet to be revealed. Caleb pauses at the main street, inhaling the cool desert air, noticing the chapel at the far end, its doors slightly ajar, sway slowly in the breeze. There is a faint glow from within, soft and inviting, beckoning him closer. The town itself seems alive, though no living soul walks its streets. A faint hum resonates from somewhere beneath the town, subtle, almost imperceptible, like the town itself breathing. Caleb senses that this is a place where past and present intertwine, where the veil between memory and reality thins, and where shadows hold stories waiting to be discovered. As you imagine Caleb stepping forward, let your mind follow. With each breath, sink deeper into the calm. The town, the dunes, the night sky, all wrap around you in a cocoon of tranquility. The distant glow of the chapel promises not danger, but understanding, a gentle invitation to explore the mysteries of Somnus Vale. The wind whispers softly through the skeletal trees and over broken fences, carrying with it the weight of years, the echoes of footsteps, the traces of laughter and sorrow long past. Notice the details, the way a window frame tilts, the way a shutter flutters in the breeze, the faint shimmer of dust in the lantern light. Every element is part of the story, part of the lullaby, guiding you and Caleb deeper into the peaceful yet mysterious heart of the town. Each inhalation draws you further into this world. Each exhalation releases tension, grounding you in the calm, coziest space of the desert night. Caleb takes the first step toward the chapel, and with him you move into the gentle embrace of the night, where time slows, where shadows are companions, and where the magic of Somnus Vale begins to unfold. Let the stillness of the town settle into your mind, a peaceful, magical, calming rhythm that invites your body and soul to relax fully. You are safe. You are present. You are ready to begin. Caleb's boots pressed softly into the sand as he moved deeper into the heart of Somnus Vale. The town seemed to breathe around him, each building whispering faint echoes of lives long gone. The wind carried the subtle scent of old timber, dry sage, and the faint metallic tang of weathered iron. Wooden boards creaked gently underfoot, not threatening, but suggesting stories. Each sound a gentle note in a lullaby woven from decades of memory. You feel it too, listener. The town's rhythm wraps around you, a calm, coziest embrace, coaxing you to breathe slowly, fully, letting tension melt with each exhale. The streets stretched before him like ribbons of memory, lined with saloons whose doors sagged slightly on their hinges, their faded signs revealing names of proprietors from a time long forgotten. Windows reflected the soft silver light of the moon, though inside there was no light at all, only shadows that moved with a quiet intention. Every corner seemed alive, yet serene, a delicate balance between the eerie and the peaceful, where every whisper might carry a secret waiting to be understood. Caleb paused at an intersection, noticing the delicate shimmer of dust motes drifting lazily in the cool night air. They caught the pale moonlight, swirling like tiny spirits suspended mid-air. Some appeared to form patterns, fleeting images of people who had once walked these streets. A hint of laughter here, a shadow of tears there. These visions were gentle, magical, not frightening. The desert and the town collaborated in soft orchestration, guiding him forward with subtle nudges of wind and the faint creak of boards beneath his boots. He turned toward the chapel once more. Its doors hung open wider now, beckoning him closer, yet the movement was so subtle he might have imagined it. Inside, the air was cooler, the wooden floorboards quiet, and a faint resonance lingered, a sound that might have been a bell tolling far beneath the earth. Caleb stepped in carefully, the soft sand from outside crunching under his boots, carrying with it the aroma of history, of sermons preached long ago, of hymns murmured softly in pews now empty. He ran a hand across a carved wooden bench, feeling the worn grooves etched by hands now gone, and in that moment he sensed that Psalmnus Vale's silence was a language in itself, peaceful yet deeply instructive. Outside, the desert wrapped the town in its gentle arms. Sand shifted with a rhythm like a slow, meditative breath, curling into tiny waves across the edges of the streets. Caleb paused to listen, noticing a faint melodic whistle riding the wind. It could have been the wind itself, or a memory carried by it. The soft sound wove through the town, brushing past abandoned doors and chimneys, following him silently as he wandered. You can feel it too, listener, as though the air itself encourages you to sink further into relaxation, your mind floating effortlessly, free from the burdens of waking life. He approached a row of houses, their windows dark, their porches sagging, yet something lingered within them. Shadows moved slightly against the walls, responding to the moonlight as if aware of his presence. Not threatening, only attentive, calming, a reminder that the town's spirit was present and that every step he took was acknowledged. The sand underfoot carried echoes of past footsteps, soft yet distinct, guiding him subtly toward a wider street that opened into the town square in the center. The fountain was cracked and dry, a hollow monument to gatherings long past. Its basin reflected the moonlight, mirroring the faint shimmer of stars above. Caleb paused, placing a hand on its edge. He felt a pulse there, a soft vibration, almost imperceptible, like the heartbeat of Psalmnus Vale itself. The town whispered its history, but gently, magical, peaceful, coaxing him to notice the small, subtle details. A chair tilted in a doorway, a shutter flapping softly, the trace of a child's drawing in the dust. Each detail was a note in the lullaby, each movement a gentle brush against his awareness, inviting him deeper into the calm. As Caleb continued, a soft breeze carried the faintest scent of flowers, impossible in the desert, yet delicate, grounding. It reminded him that even here, in a place long abandoned by the living, life and memory intertwined, the chapel, the saloons, the empty streets, all became part of a quiet meditation, a guided sleep meditation woven from the textures, sounds, and scents of Psalmnus Vale. You can let yourself wander with him, listener, letting your body relax further, your mind drifting in synchrony with each echo and whisper. Every step Caleb took was a slow, intentional movement through the town's memory, a careful dance of curiosity and caution. The desert wrapped the town in protective calm, The night sky arched overhead, and the shadows that had seemed eerie now felt like gentle guides. You can feel their subtle encouragement as you breathe slowly, letting go, immersing yourself in the coziest, most calming sense of presence, floating on the soft rhythm of the abandoned streets and the desert beyond. Somnus Vale, though empty, was not silent. Its whispers followed him, inviting him and you to explore, to notice, to rest in the beauty of quiet and history. Every creak, every sigh of wind, every shimmer of moonlight became part of the story. You are safe here. You are at peace. The town has welcomed you gently into its memory, into its rhythm, into the soft, most magical embrace of night. Caleb's steps carried him past the town square, over the cracked stones that had once echoed with the chatter of townsfolk, past the dry fountain where water had not flowed in decades. A strange stillness filled the air, a calm that seemed both natural and deliberate, as if the desert itself had been holding its breath, waiting for him to arrive. Yet there was something subtly unsettling, something that tugged at the edge of awareness, a flicker of movement, a shadow that lingered longer than it should. He glanced toward the chapel, noticing the pale light from the moon reflected in the worn windows. It shimmered oddly, bending around shapes that should not have been there. Caleb's shadow stretched across the sand, and for a brief moment it seemed to move independently, lingering behind him in a way that defied the gentle moonlight. A chill brushed his skin, but it was not the kind that brought fear. It was a whisper of awareness, a hint that the town held secrets that demanded respect, secrets that carried both weight and grace. As he walked, he became aware of other movements. Faint outlines of figures appeared at the edges of the streets, dissolving when he tried to focus on them. The wind carried faint murmurs, not words, not speech, but a resonance, like echoes of conversations long silenced. Some were soft sighs, others distant laughter. The atmosphere was eerie, yet profoundly peaceful. Caleb realized that these were the lingering memories of the town, traces of lives once lived, now dancing gently with the night. You can feel it too, listener. Let your breaths deepen, sinking further into the soft embrace of your bed. Let the stillness of Somnus Vale wrap around your shoulders like a warm shawl. Every sound, every shimmer of shadow, every gentle movement in the sand carries you into the story, weaving you into the town's quiet heartbeat. This is not a place of terror, but of reflection. A space where the unseen guides and teaches through presence alone. Caleb moved toward the edge of the town, where the wooden buildings gave way to sand dunes. The dunes were vast, stretching endlessly into the desert night. Here, the shadows were longer, darker, yet strangely comforting. The wind shifted again, carrying a delicate, almost musical sound, like a faint lullaby played on an instrument. Only the desert knew. Each note seemed to resonate with his heartbeat, matching the slow rhythm of breath and pulse, drawing both him and you, listener, into a meditative calm. He noticed a faint glow near the top of a dune, flickering gently like a candle. Curious. He climbed slowly, feeling the sand shift beneath his boots. The glow revealed a shape, half-formed, neither fully solid nor entirely immaterial. It moved in harmony with the wind, a gentle dance of light and shadow. Caleb's shadow stretched beside it, aligning not perfectly, but in concert. It was the first clear sign that the town's secrets were not malevolent. They were guides, magical, showing him the path through the quiet mysteries of Somnus Vale. The desert around him hummed softly, the sand rippling in subtle waves. He paused, letting the wind brush against his skin, noticing how the night seemed to breathe alongside him. Every whisper, every flicker of shadow carried a message, not spoken, but felt. These were echoes of choice and consequence, of lives intersecting with this place long ago. They reminded Caleb, and through him, you, listener, that history is not always loud. Sometimes it is soft, almost imperceptible, yet profoundly powerful. Caleb knelt briefly in the sand, tracing patterns that had formed naturally, letting his hands feel the grains, each one a reminder of the slow passage of time, of memories, buried yet preserved. You can imagine it too. The coolness of the sand, the softness of the night air, the gentle brush of wind over skin. Let your body relax fully, letting the desert's rhythm sync with your own heartbeat. Each inhalation brings calm, each exhalation releases tension, sinking you deeper into the coziest, most peaceful space of awareness. Erose again, moving carefully, following the glow across the dunes. It revealed glimpses of what lay ahead, the faint outline of the chapel beyond the sand, the shimmering traces of footprints that were not his own, and shadows that hinted at past lives, guiding him without words. Caleb understood, finally, that the town itself was alive, not in the sense of movement or sound, but in the sense of memory, presence, and quiet instruction. Somnus Vale did not demand fear. It demanded attention, respect, and gentle curiosity. As he stood atop the dune, the glow fading behind him, Caleb took a deep breath, feeling the desert's calm fill every fiber of his being. The shadows no longer seemed strange, only companions in the slow, deliberate rhythm of night. You, too, listener, can feel this. The desert, the town, the gentle whispers of time weaving through the sand and the buildings, carrying both Caleb and you into a space where magical, calming, and peaceful coexist in harmony. The night deepens. The stars above shimmer faintly. Caleb takes the first steps toward understanding the town's deepest secrets, and you follow gently, safely, as the soft rhythm of Somnus Vale carries both of you into its mysteries. Caleb's footsteps carried him deeper into Somnus Vale, toward the chapel perched at the far end of the town. The closer he approached, the more the town seemed to shift subtly under the moonlight, like a memory adjusting itself. The shadows stretched and curled around corners, yet they did not threaten. Instead, they whispered softly, coziest and calming, coaxing him toward a hidden path, one that promised answers and mysteries intertwined. He noticed a narrow alley between two saloons, dust swirling in faint spirals, as though the wind itself carried secrets. Caleb stepped lightly, following the subtle patterns, feeling the uneven boards beneath his boots, the cool desert air brushing against his face. A faint glow emanated from beneath a trapdoor set into the cobblestone path, partially hidden by sand and shadow. He paused, listening. The soft creak of wood and the gentle sigh of the wind seemed almost musical, as if guiding him into understanding, into the heart of the town's long-held secrets. The trapdoor yielded easily under his touch, revealing a narrow staircase descending into darkness. A chill brushed his skin, not threatening, but a reminder of the mysteries below. Caleb descended slowly, each step sinking into the silence of the subterranean chamber. The air grew cooler, filled with the scent of earth and ancient timber. You can feel it too, listener, as if you descend with him, each breath sinking with the gentle rhythm of the underground world. Every inhalation brings calm. Every exhalation releases tension deeper and deeper into the peaceful, magical heart of Sulmnis Vale. Below the town, Caleb discovered a series of chambers, etched with carvings and symbols that hinted at rituals long forgotten. The walls bore names, dates, and faint marks of past lives. He ran his fingers along the grooves, feeling the pulse of history under his fingertips. Each trace told stories of choices made, of lives lived and lost, of secrets buried in the sand above. Shadows flickered along the walls, cast by faintly glowing lanterns that seemed suspended in. They danced gently, creating shapes that suggested figures moving in silent prayer long after the town had emptied of life. The further Caleb moved, the more he sensed the resonance of the past, faint whispers that were not threatening, but instructive. They spoke in echoes, in rhythms, in delicate hints of lives intersecting with the desert, with Sulmnis Vale itself. These were stories of betrayal, of loyalty, of sacrifice, and the weight of consequence. Some shadows hinted at sorrow, others at quiet joy long forgotten. All of them carried a gentle message: to observe, to listen, to understand, and then to rest that above him. The desert night seemed distant, muffled, as though the chambers themselves absorbed the winds and stars. Caleb felt time dilate. Each step became an exercise in deliberate awareness, each breath an invitation to relaxing story-like calm. The shadows beneath the town moved subtly, curling around corners and columns, guiding him through a narrative that was not written in words, but in presence, in memory. In the mist of currents, he discovered an alcove with remnants of old documents, maps, and ledger books, detailing the lives of those who had inhabited Sulmnis Vale. Names repeated in patterns, histories intertwined with the natural cycles of the desert. One ledger contained notations about disappearances, unexplained events, and mysterious lights on the dunes. Caleb could feel the energy of those who had observed and recorded, their intentions peaceful yet insistent, urging him to understand the delicate balance of life and shadow that permeated the town. Faint glow caught his eye from the far corner of the chamber. It was not fire, but a luminescence that seemed to emanate from the stone itself. As he approached, the light revealed a mosaic of shadows depicting the town, the dunes, and figures walking through time. Caleb realized that the shadows were not merely reflections, but echoes, remnants of those who had traversed the town, some human, some something else, all imprinted in the very fabric of the place. He lingered, tracing the patterns with his eyes and fingers, feeling the magical, peaceful pulse of the town's memory. This was the core of Solmnesville's secret, a place where history, memory, and the supernatural intertwined in harmony. Caleb understood now that the shadows he had seen above were not dangers, but guardians. They held their past, the lessons, and the quiet wisdom of a town that had learned to endure, to observe, and to guide those who sought its truths. With each breath, Kayla felt lighter, as though the weight of the centuries lifted, leaving only the gentle calm, the subtle, coziest sense of belonging. The desert above hummed faintly, the town cradled by sand and silence. Every step he had taken, every shadow observed, had led him here, to the understanding that some mysteries are not solved through fear or haste, but through patient observation, deep listening, and gentle curiosity. Caleb rose slowly, taking one last moment to absorb the tranquil, almost sacred ambience. The chambers whispered farewell in subtle movements of light and shadow, carrying the message: the town is alive in memory, in shadow, and in your awareness. As he ascended back into the quiet streets of Solmnesville, the night wrapped around him like a calming, protective cloak. You can feel it too, listener, as you exhale. Relax, and let the gentle secrets of the desert and its shadows seep into your mind, peaceful and serene, preparing you for the next step in this gentle journey. Caleb emerged from the hidden chambers beneath Somna's veil with a heightened sense of awareness. The moonlight poured softly across the deserted streets, reflecting faintly off broken windows and the sand-dusted boards of the abandoned buildings. The town seemed quieter now, yet every shadow felt alive with gentle movement, as if the memories of past residents were following him in silent, peaceful procession. He walked toward the town square, pausing at each corner to observe the delicate interplay of light and shadow. A faint breeze stirred, carrying the scent of old timber, desert sage, and the faint metallic trace of history. The shadows that had once stretched independently now seemed to converge subtly around him, aligning with his steps, guiding him rather than unsettling him. They whispered stories in imperceptible rhythms, tales of decisions made and consequences endured, half-lives intersecting with the town and desert over centuries. You can feel the whispers too, listener, soft as a lullaby, inviting your mind to slow, your body to relax, and your thoughts to settle. Caleb noticed a cluster of buildings at the edge of the square that he had not observed before. Their exteriors were worn, windows boarded, yet a faint glow emanated from within. As he approached, he realized that this glow pulsed with subtle variations, responding to his presence. A gentle warmth spread through him, calming and reassuring. Here, the town seemed to offer guidance, teaching patience and quiet curiosity. The glow was not a threat, but a beacon, highlighting the delicate balance between the living and the memory of the past, between shadow and substance. Moving carefully, Caleb entered the main saloon, its door swinging slightly with the breeze. Inside, dust motes danced lazily in the soft silver light, filtering through shattered windows. The air carried the echo of laughter and conversation, faint but unmistakable. It was as if the town itself had recorded these moments and now replayed them gently, magical and calming for those willing to listen. He traced his fingers along the worn bar, feeling the grooves left by decades of hands that had passed through. Each impression told a story, each mark a memory, and with every touch, he felt the town's heartbeat merged with his own. Caleb continued to explore, finding subtle signs of the supernatural interwoven with the ordinary. A chair tilted slightly, though no one had moved it. A lantern flickered softly, casting shadows that formed fleeting patterns on the walls. Distant murmurs echoed, not words, but gentle tonalities that resonated within his chest. These phenomena were not frightening. Rather, they were invitations to pay attention, to immerse fully in the rhythm of the town, to understand its layers of existence. The desert night outside seemed to hum in harmony with the town's quiet activity, enhancing the coziest, most peaceful atmosphere. At the edge of the square, Caleb noticed the chapel once again. Its doors, now fully open, revealed a subtle glow spilling onto the sand. Stepping inside, he felt the air grow cooler, the quiet weight of history pressing softly against his consciousness. Shadows lined the walls, stretching and intertwining, hinting at figures who had once inhabited this sacred space. Their presence was gentle, guiding, relaxing, as if the town itself sought to communicate lessons of patience, understanding, and quiet reflection. Each movement, each whisper, was a soft note in the lullaby of the night, carrying both Caleb and you, listener, deeper into the rhythm of Somnus Vale. In a small alcove within the chapel, Caleb discovered remnants of old ledgers and journals. He ran his fingers over the delicate pages, noting the careful script of names, dates, and observations. Tales of disappearances, unusual lights over the dunes, and unexplained phenomena were recorded meticulously. The town had preserved these memories, not as warnings, but as guidance, a guided sleep meditation of sorts, allowing the careful observer to witness and absorb the patterns of life, shadow, and consequence. Caleb felt a profound connection, realizing that the town's mysteries were not meant to terrify, but to teach, to slow the mind, and to soothe the spirit. As A lingered, a faint wind stirred the chapel doors, carrying the desert's cool breath and the soft, magical whisper of the dunes. Caleb closed his eyes for a moment, letting the rhythm of the town sync with his own. The soft creak of boards, the subtle glow of shadows, and the gentle hum of memory formed a tapestry that embraced him fully. You can feel it too, listener, a tender lullaby of night, shadow, and memory, inviting every fiber of your being to relax, to release, and to rest in the calm of Somnus Vale. Caleb rose slowly, his awareness sharpened, yet soothed, understanding that the town's secrets were delicate, layered, and profound. Each step back into the open streets carried the echoes of the past gently forward, reminding him anew that some mysteries are not solved through haste, but through careful observation and quiet patience. The town's supernatural rhythm, intertwined with its history, offered a safe, serene passage into deeper contemplation, a peaceful, cozy, calming lullaby of the desert night, with the chapel behind him and the dunes stretching into the distance. Caleb took a deep breath, feeling a subtle warmth spread through him. The town, in its quiet, magical way, had imparted lessons of shadow, memory, and gentle guidance. As he continued forward, every movement became part of the rhythm of the night, every step an invitation for you, listener, to drift further into calm, comforted by the relaxing, serene embrace of Songness Vale. Caleb moved slowly through the quiet streets of Songness Vale, the soft sand crunching beneath his boots, each step synchronized with the gentle rhythm of the desert night. The moon hung low, casting a pale, cozy glow over the abandoned buildings, highlighting the subtle movement of shadows that seemed alive but entirely benign. Every creak of wood, every distant whisper of wind, blended into a serene symphony, a lullaby meant for those willing to listen with patience and care. The town seemed to stretch endlessly, yet each corner, each doorway, told a story with delicate precision. Caleb paused at the edge of the chapel steps, allowing the stillness to settle into his chest, his mind attuning to the quiet resonance that filled the night. Faint echoes of the past seemed to float around him. Footsteps long vanished, soft laughter, murmurs of conversation. None startling, all peaceful and gentle. The air carried the subtle scent of sage and old timber, blending with the desert as a cool breath, creating a magical, calming atmosphere. As he walked toward the saloon at the far end of the square, he noticed how the shadows stretched slightly, following him in a deliberate dance. They were not threatening. Instead, they seemed to guide, to reassure, offering glimpses of the town's long-held secrets without demand or alarm. Caleb realized that the town itself was a living archive, a repository of memories, carefully preserved, ready to teach patience, reflection, and gentle awareness to anyone who walked its streets. Every step brought new subtle details. A window cracked open just enough to let a sliver of moonlight illuminate the dust-laden floor. A shutter, gently flapping in the breeze, produced a faint, rhythmic creak. A lantern, long extinguished, seemed to glow faintly from within its frame. Caleb inhaled slowly, feeling the coziest, most peaceful calm settle into his lungs. You can feel it too, listener. As your own breath aligns with the town's rhythm, your body releasing tension, your mind surrendering to the relaxing story that unfolds gently around you. The saloon doors creaked softly as he entered, the room filled with a subtle warmth despite the cool desert air outside. Dust motes danced lazily in the silver moonlight, moving in slow arcs that mirrored the town's careful heartbeat. Faint outlines of former patrons lingered in the corners, shadows of memory preserved in the stillness. Caleb ran his fingers along the worn bar, feeling grooves and depressions left by countless hands over the decades. Each mark carried a story, magical and fleeting, inviting him to listen without words, to feel without fear. He paused at the center of the room, closing his eyes briefly, letting the town's whisperings envelop him. Above, the moonlight filtered through broken panes, casting intricate patterns on the dusty floor. He sensed the harmony of history and present, of shadow and light, each element contributing to the coziest sense of calm. The town had shared its secrets in subtle ways, offering understanding without urgency, revelation without shock, creating a rhythm that was both peaceful and calming, perfect for drifting into relaxation. As Caleb moved back toward the chapel, the dunes beyond the town shimmered faintly under the moon, their gentle curves bathed in silver. The subtle glow of the chapel doors invited him once more, reminding him that the town's mysteries were not fully revealed, yet always present, patiently waiting for those who walked slowly, observed carefully, and listened deeply. The air felt charged with memory, yet safe, relaxing, and soft, carrying him and you, listener, toward a place of quiet understanding. He paused at the chapel steps, looking back at the town square. The shadows shifted subtly, and Caleb felt the pulse of history through the very ground beneath his boots. Eachmobem, each faint sound, every flicker of light was a note in the lullaby of Somnus Vale, an invitation to surrender to the night's gentle rhythm. As he inhaled deeply, he allowed himself to absorb the full serenity of the desert, the town, and the whispering shadows, feeling a profound peaceful calm settle into every part of his being. Finally, Caleb turned toward the dunes beyond the town, his shadow merging seamlessly with the soft, shifting night. You can feel it too, listener. The desert, the town, and the shadows cradling you in a tender embrace, encouraging slow, deep breaths, and inviting your mind to drift gently, letting go of every thought, every worry, the town's secrets, the supernatural whisper, the gentle echoes of the past, all exist now as a calming, magical space for rest, reflection, and peace. Somnus Vale fades softly in the distance, its gentle rhythm lingering, leaving behind the coziest, most peaceful feeling. As Caleb steps onto the sand and begins the path beyond the town, remember this: the shadows and whispers of Somnus Vale are always with you, guiding you into serenity. And as the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a guided sleep, carried on the gentle, tranquil, and calming currents of the desert night. Caleb stepped softly onto the desert sands just beyond Somnus Vale, the soft silver light of the moon casting long, tranquil shadows across the undulating dunes. The town behind him seemed smaller now, a collection of whispers and memories nestled into the desert, yet its presence lingered in the air like a gentle hum. Each step he took sank slightly into the cool, fine grains of sand, grounding him while connecting him to the invisible pulse of the land. The night was serene, yet there was an underlying rhythm, subtle and deliberate, that hinted at stories waiting to be discovered. Before we continue with Caleb, listener, find comfort wherever you are. Let your body sink gently into your bed or chair. Feel the support beneath you, steady and secure. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Inhale slowly, drawing the calm night into your lungs. Exhale, releasing tension, stress, and the remnants of your day. With each breath, feel the desert air, the soft rustle of unseen leaves, the faint echo of distant footsteps, infusing your mind with the coziest, most peaceful sensation. This is your bedtime story, your sleep story, a relaxing story designed to carry you into a gentle, restorative state. Caleb paused mid-step, noticing a faint shimmer ahead. The dunes were not entirely empty. Subtle shapes shifted just beyond the corner of vision, like sand draped over forms unseen. The wind carried a low, almost imperceptible hum, harmonizing with the soft rustle of grains underfoot. He reached out, not to touch, but to acknowledge, and felt a gentle warmth radiate from the sand itself. A reminder that Somnus Vale and the surrounding desert held mysteries intertwined with history, memory, and subtle forces beyond ordinary perception. As he moved forward, the dunes seemed to stretch endlessly, each curve inviting contemplation. Shadows pooled and shifted with the moonlight, sometimes moving independently, forming elongated silhouettes that whispered of figures who had walked these sands long before him. Caleb noticed one in particular, a shadowy figure half visible, almost transparent, yet distinctly present. It mirrored his steps for a moment before dissipating into the night. He did not feel fear, rather a soft, magical reassurance, as though the desert itself acknowledged his presence and welcomed him into its hidden narrative. You, listener, can follow with him, letting the rhythm of each step guide your own breath. Inhale deeply, feeling the stillness of the desert fill your chest. Exhale slowly, letting go, sinking further into the calming embrace of this nocturnal world. Every ripple in the sand, every faint shimmer of moonlight, every whispering wind is a thread in the tapestry of this guided sleep meditation, designed to carry you gently toward relaxation and awareness. Caleb's gaze lifted to the horizon, where the moon reflected off distant ridges of sand. The dunes shifted subtly, not with wind alone, but with a presence that felt alive, responsive, as if the desert itself remembered those who had walked here and guided them forward. The shadow he had glimpsed earlier seemed to linger near a particular dune, almost beckoning him. He approached slowly, feeling the grain slide beneath his boots, each movement deliberate, harmonious with the subtle pulse of the land. As he reached the dune, he discovered a faint imprint, not of any living creature, but of a figure that had once traversed this same path. The sand had preserved it as if suspended in time. Caleb knelt to observe, noticing the intricate patterns, the way shadows curled into the depression of the footprints, the way the faint luminescence of the moon reflected against them. It was a reminder that the desert and Somnus Vale were more than mere land and structures. They were living archives of memory, peaceful, magical, and imbued with the gentle energy of all who had walked here. The wind shifted again, carrying a subtle sound, a soft, melodic cadence, faint as a lullaby. Caleb closed his eyes briefly, letting the sound infuse him with calm. It was not music in the conventional sense, but a resonance of history, presence, and the unseen. Shadows moved lightly around him, wrapping him in a gentle, almost tangible embrace. You can feel it too, listener. The desert, the faint whispers of the past, all combining to create a cozy, most calming atmosphere, guiding your mind into rest, your body into relaxation, and your spirit into harmony with the night. Caleb rose and continued along the dunes, feeling subtly guided by the shadows and whispers. Each step was a meditation, a careful integration of awareness, curiosity, and tranquility. The desert stretched endlessly, yet its hidden rhythms reassured him that every movement was observed, respected, and harmonized with the pulse of the land. Every inhalation drew serenity into his lungs. Every exhalation released tension, doubt, and distraction. The horizon ahead glimmered faintly with a shimmer unlike any natural reflection, suggesting something beyond ordinary sight. Caleb slowed, absorbing the quiet, the soft patterns of shadows and sand, the gentle hum of history resonating beneath him. This was the beginning of a deeper understanding. A careful dance between observation and acceptance, where the desert, the town, and the unseen inhabitants coalesced into a magical, peaceful, relaxing rhythm. With every step, Caleb and you, listener, drift further into this serene world. The dunes, the shadows, the soft glow on the horizon, they all serve as guides, preparing you for the unfolding mysteries of Samna's veil, and for the gentle unraveling of truths hidden among the sands, waiting to reveal themselves in the calm embrace of the desert night. Caleb moved carefully along the rolling dunes, the soft sand yielding beneath each footstep, the moonlight casting gentle silver beams across the landscape. The night was serene, yet something subtle shifted in the air, a whisper of movement that seemed independent of wind or sand. Ahead, near a crescent-shaped dune, a faint figure appeared, tall, indistinct, and somehow impossibly still. At first, it was just a shadow, blending with the dunes, but as Caleb approached, he noticed something extraordinary. The figure cast no shadow of its own. The desert, calm and silent, seemed to hold its breath. Caleb's own shadow stretched long behind him, but the figure remained unbound by light, a silhouette both familiar and impossibly alien. His heart did not race. Instead, a soft thrill of curiosity mingled with the peaceful cadence of the night. The figure did not move, yet it felt aware, conscious of Caleb's presence, as though waiting patiently for recognition. The sands around it shimmered faintly, responding subtly to the energy of its existence, creating a scene that was magical, cozy, and oddly calming. You, listener, can breathe with Caleb now. Inhale slowly, drawing the cool desert air deep into your chest. Exhale gentle, releasing tension, letting the soft rhythm of the dunes and the moonlight wash over you. The figure in the moonlight is not a threat. It is a gentle guide, a fragment of the mysteries that linger in Somnus Vale. Let your awareness soften, your mind follow the gentle unfolding, and feel the relaxing energy of the desert night surrounding you completely. Caleb took another step forward, feeling the grains of sand shift beneath him. The figure remained unmoving, its outline slightly shimmering, as if composed of the very essence of night and memory. He noticed the faintest detail. Where he expected a shadow to meet the ground, there was none. It was as if the being was tethered to another plane, existing in the same space yet untouched by its rules. The wind brushed past his cheeks, carrying a faint, almost musical whisper, a resonance of the past interwoven with the present. The dunes around Caleb began to echo subtly, each step producing soft vibrations that harmonized with the low hum of the night. He felt connected to the figure, not in the sense of proximity, but through awareness, a quiet acknowledgement that some presences cannot be seen fully, yet can be sensed deeply. You can sense it too, listener, letting your body sink further into the mattress or chair, feeling the stillness of the desert and the gentle rhythm of the figure's silent vigilance envelop you in comfort. The figure seemed to tilt its head slightly, not in menace, but in recognition. Caleb could feel the history woven into its presence, the weight of forgotten stories and secrets preserved beneath the desert moon. Each detail, every subtle movement of sand or shimmer of light, carried the imprint of decades, perhaps centuries, of memories and moments long since past. There was a quiet majesty in its existence, an eerie yet peaceful, almost magical quality that invited calm observation rather than fear. As Caleb approached, he noticed the surrounding sand subtly shift, forming delicate patterns, almost like markings left by unseen hands. The figure's outline glimmered faintly against the moonlight, and Caleb understood that he was witnessing something that transcended ordinary perception, a presence that belonged to the desert itself, to the rhythms of Somnus Vale, to the hidden life of shadows and memory. Each moment, slow and deliberate, allowed him and you, listener, to feel a profound connection to the subtle mysteries of the night. He stopped a few paces from the figure, the sand beneath his boots settling softly. There was no need for words. The desert, the moon, the dunes, and the figure all spoke in a language of presence and attention. Caleb inhaled, exhaled, letting the harmony of the desert night infuse every cell of his body. The figure remained still, a silent guardian, a whisper of the town's secrets, guiding without interference, teaching without speech. With each breath, Caleb felt the gentle pull of the desert's rhythm, the quiet heartbeat of Somnus Vale, and the calming, cozy, magical essence of the figure. You can feel it too, listener, letting the sands, shadows, and moonlight cradle your awareness. Inhale serenity, exhale tension. The figure in the moonlight, the dunes, and the town behind you exist in harmony, creating a relaxing story that draws both Caleb and you into a tranquil, peaceful, and restorative state. As he finally turned to continue along the dunes, the figure remained, a quiet sentinel among the sands. Its presence lingered in the peripheral vision, in the soft whispers of wind, and in the rhythm of the desert night. Caleb felt a deep sense of calm, a connection to the unseen, and an understanding that some mysteries exist not to frighten, but to guide, to soothe, and to teach patience. And you, listener, are welcome to follow this rhythm, sinking deeper into sleep, carried gently by the coziest, most magical, and calming currents of Somnus Vale. Caleb continued along the dunes, the soft moonlight painting silver highlights across the undulating sands. Each step seemed synchronized with the quiet heartbeat of the desert, a gentle rhythm that soothed him even as subtle traces of the past whispered through the night. Shadows stretched and intertwined, moving almost imperceptibly, as if alive. Yet there was no fear here, only a cozy, peaceful resonance, the soft hum of histories long past. Ahead, a faint glimmer caught his eye, shimmering like a veil in the moonlight. As he drew closer, he realized the figure was not entirely solid, nor completely absent. It hovered between worlds, a spectral presence lingering at the edge of perception. Kayla's heart remained calm, attuned to the desert's lullaby, and he observed closely. The figure's movements mirrored subtle patterns of life and memory, as if the sands themselves had preserved a moment in time, echoing it softly into the night. Listener, let your own breath follow Caleb's rhythm. Inhale gently, filling your lungs with the cool desert air. Exhale slowly, letting the night's whispers carry away tension. Each sound, each shadow, every subtle shimmer of light is part of this guided sleep meditation, designed to ease your mind and calm your spirit. You are walking these dunes with Caleb, moving in harmony with the desert's ancient pulse. As he approached the apparition, Caleb noticed that faint shapes emerge in the sand around it, footprints, impressions of hands, and traces of figures long gone. Some were human, others less so, twisted into ethereal forms that suggested lives intersecting with Somnus Vale in ways both tragic and profound. Each shadow told a story, a promise broken, a choice made too late, or a kindness long forgotten. And yet, these echoes carried no menace, only a quiet, magical instruction to observe, reflect, and release. The figure itself seemed aware, tilting slightly, its contours shimmering softly against the moon. Caleb felt a warmth, subtle but tangible, as though the presence was communicating a gentle reassurance. The desert wind hummed through the dunes, carrying distant whispers that mingled with the shifting sands. Some were faint echoes of laughter, others sighs of sorrow, all coalescing into a hauntingly beautiful melody. You can feel it too, listener, the soft resonance soothing your body, your mind, allowing each shadow and whisper to lull you deeper into calm. Caleb knelt beside a cluster of faintly glowing impressions in the sand, recognizing patterns that mirrored stories he had glimpsed in the town's hidden archives. Each imprint spoke of moments suspended between life and memory, of choices reverberating through time. The figure, hovering silently nearby, seemed to guide him through these traces, offering gentle illumination of what had been lost and what had endured. The night felt alive, peaceful, cozy, and calming. The desert and its spectral inhabitants, sharing their quiet wisdom as he studied the sand. Caleb noticed a soft movement behind him. The wind had shifted, carrying a subtle, melodic sound. It was not music as we know it, listener, but the resonance of memory, vibrating softly across dunes and desert night. Shadows moved in harmony with this melody, some stretching, others bending, all forming a delicate choreography of the unseen. He felt connected to them, not as a participant, but as an observer, part of the rhythm, the cycle, and the quiet story unfolding around him. He rose slowly, stepping carefully among the impressions. Each movement was deliberate, synchronized with the soft currents of air and light. The figure glimmered faintly, as if acknowledging his presence, yet never intruding, never demanding. Caleb felt a profound serenity in this interaction, a sense of belonging and trust, that some mysteries exist not to frighten, but to teach patience and reflection. The desert night wrapped around him, the shadows and whispers forming a gentle embrace that seemed to guide both him and you, listener, into deeper calm. Caleb paused at the crest of a dune, the town now faintly visible behind him, its lights shimmering through time like distant stars. The figure lingered near a dip in the sand, its presence ethereal yet unmistakably real. He understood now that these shadows, these echoes, were guardians of memory, carefully preserving stories that would otherwise fade. Some were tragic, others tender, all magical and soothing, offering a lullaby woven of wind, shadow, and light. You can imagine it too, listener, the cool desert sand beneath you, the soft glow of moonlight, the gentle chorus of whispers drifting through the dunes. Each breath draws serenity deeper, each exhale releases tension. Caleb's journey through the echoes of Somnus Vale mirrors your own journey into calm, rest, and reflection. The figure remains, a sentinel of memory, a quiet guide through the relaxing, peaceful rhythm of the night. As he continued, the shadows shifted, harmonizing with his steps. Caleb felt the desert's pulse, the town's whispers, and the soft hum of history intertwining. Each mobemin, each breath, each flicker of light carried a message. Observe gently, release fully, and rest peacefully. The dunes, the figure, and the lingering echoes of the forgotten invited him, and you, into a state of calm, cozy, and magical awareness. The perfect transition towards deeper relaxation and sleep. Caleb ascended a gentle ridge of sand, the moonlight glimmering on its curves like silver waves frozen in time. The town of Somnus Vale lay faintly behind him, a constellation of silent memories and lingering whispers. Yet before him stretched a part of the desert he had not fully explored, a space where the dunes deepened, shadows lengthened, and the air carried a subtle, almost tangible vibration. It was here that the figure without a shadow had led him, inviting observation, patience, and quiet understanding. Listener, take a slow breath with Caleb. Inhale gently, feeling the cool desert air fill your chest. Exhale, releasing any tension or distraction. Let the dunes, the wind, and the quiet presence of the figure envelop you in a cozy, peaceful, and calming embrace. Each sound, each movement, each flicker of moonlight is part of this guided sleep meditation, designed to lull your mind into serenity while revealing the soft mysteries of the night. Caleb approached the figure slowly, noticing for the first time the delicate ripple in the sands surrounding it, as though the very earth reacted to its presence. The figure remained perfectly still, its form faintly shimmering, defined by contours of light rather than shadow. Caleb felt a gentle pull, an almost magnetic sense of connection, as if the desert itself had aligned with this being for centuries, preserving its story through dunes, wind, and memory. The figure's presence exuded a magical, calming energy. Caleb realized that this was not merely a ghost or illusion. It was a sentinel, an observer, a keeper of the town's hidden history. He reached out with his mind, allowing intuition to guide him, sensing faint traces of events long past, a betrayal that had left a family fractured, a secret oath sworn under the moon, a life lost too soon yet remembered in whispers of sand. The figure absorbed these echoes and reflected them gently into the night, teaching understanding through presence rather than words. As Caleb knelt beside a subtle depression in the sand, the figure moved slightly, a gesture almost imperceptible but deliberate. He realized the depression mirrored his own footprints from earlier, a silent acknowledgement that the town and desert had recorded his journey as part of its living memory. Each movement, each ripple, was a note in the gentle melody of Somnus Vale, harmonizing with the soft wind, the flickering starlight, and the steady rhythm of the night. The desert around them remained serene, yet faint phenomena revealed the supernatural nature of the space. Shadows that once stretched independently now formed delicate patterns, echoing shapes of the figure and Caleb alike. Subtle glows emerged from the sand, revealing impressions of previous travelers, their experiences immortalized in the dunes. None of it was frightening. All of it was imbued with a peaceful, cozy magic, encouraging Caleb and you, listener, to surrender to the night's rhythm and embrace the quiet mysteries unfolding. Caleb felt an awareness expand within him, a connection between his own presence and the shadowless figure. The being seemed to communicate the essence of the town's secret. Some entities exist not to harm, but to preserve, to guide, and to teach patience. It was a reminder that history, memory, and consequence intertwine, sometimes in ways imperceptible to the unobservant eye. Here, in the dunes and under the moon, Caleb understood the delicate balance between presence and absence, light and shadow, life and memory. Listener, you can feel this too. Let your awareness settle into the soft rhythm of the desert, the shadowless figure, the gentle patterns in the sand, the subtle echoes of the past, all create a relaxing story for your mind, a lullaby of calm and understanding. Inhale serenity, exhale distraction. Each flicker of moonlight, each whisper of wind, each ripple in the sand carries you deeper into peace, allowing your body and mind to drift effortlessly toward rest. Caleb rose slowly, the figure remaining stationary yet infinitely present. He sensed that some secrets were not meant to be grasped fully but to be honored gently. The dunes, the soft whisper of the wind, and the subtle shimmer of the figure formed a magical, cozy, and calming environment, guiding him forward without urgency. Every step he took was synchronized with the pulse of the desert, the town's memories, and the silent wisdom of the shadowless sentinel. As he continued, Caleb glanced once more at the figure. Its essence lingered in the corner of vision, a quiet testament to the unseen, the overlooked, and the mysterious. You, listener, can follow this rhythm, letting the night, the desert, and the gentle presence of the shadowless figure lull you further into peaceful, restorative sleep. Somnus Vale's secrets remain intact, offering lessons in patience, observation, and gentle acceptance, preparing both Caleb and you for the next unfolding chapter of this quiet, magical, and calming journey. Caleb continued his careful journey across the undulating dunes, the moonlight spilling like soft silver across the sand, illuminating each ripple and shadow. The town of Solness Vale lay behind him, faint and serene, yet the whispers of its hidden histories followed him like a gentle echo. The figure without a shadow remained nearby, its presence constant, silent, and magical, guiding him deeper into the mysteries of the desert night. Listener, let yourself settle into this journey with Caleb. Inhale slowly, letting the cool desert air fill your chest. Exhale, releasing any tension, doubt, or distraction. The dunes, the whispering wind, and the faint presence of the shadowless figure wrap around you, creating a cozy, peaceful, and calming embrace. Each soft sound, each subtle movement of sand, each flicker of moonlight carries you further into the tranquility of this relaxing story and guided sleep meditation. As Caleb walked, he noticed subtle anomalies in the sand, impressions of footsteps that seemed to lead in circles, fading in and out as if they were never fully formed. These patterns reflected choices made long ago, decisions that had altered the lives of those connected to Somnus Vale. The figure without a shadow hovered nearby, silent yet attentive, as though encouraging Caleb to witness these echoes without fear or judgment. Each trace was a lesson, a reminder that actions, even small or hidden, ripple through time, leaving faint but enduring marks on the world. Caleb paused at a shallow depression near a dune's crest. The patterns in the sands suggested a story of misjudgment, of an action taken in haste that led to loss and regret. The desert seemed to hold these events in delicate suspension, preserving them as gentle reminders rather than warnings. The figure's form shimmered faintly in the moonlight, a calm presence amidst the narrative of consequence. Its lack of shadow did not unsettle Caleb. Instead, it offered perspective, showing that some truths exist beyond ordinary perception, neither malevolent nor benign, but quietly instructive. The wind carried a subtle melody, an almost imperceptible hum that intertwined with the whispers of history embedded in the sand. Caleb closed his eyes briefly, letting the resonance infuse him with calm, feeling the soft pulse of the dunes align with his own heartbeat. You can feel it too, listener, allowing your body to relax further, your mind to settle, and your spirit to synchronize with the gentle rhythm of the desert night. This is your sanctuary, your cozy, peaceful, magical space, where the lessons of the past unfold slowly, without alarm, in the softest whispers of wind and sand. Caleb's attention was drawn to another cluster of markings nearby, deeper impressions that suggested a story of courage, sacrifice, and the subtle intertwining of choices. The shadowless figure hovered above them, highlighting each curve and depression with a faint shimmer, as though illuminating the delicate web of cause and effect that had shaped the town and its dunes. Caleb felt a profound sense of connection, recognizing that Somnus Vale and the surrounding desert were living archives, preserving both tragedy and beauty in a gentle balance. As he traced the shapes in the sand with his eyes, he perceived faint echoes of voices long gone, not spoken words, but tonal impressions harmonizing with the soft rustle of the wind. These echoes carried lessons without urgency, offering reflection rather than alarm. The desert night, the shimmer of the moon, and the presence of the shadowless figure combined into a calming, magical, and peaceful lullaby, inviting both Caleb and you, listener, to sink deeper into serenity. Each step Caleb took seemed purposeful, yet effortless, guided subtly by the figure and the rhythm of the dunes. The lessons of the past were present, but not overwhelming. They flowed gently around him, like a river of memory curling through the desert night. He felt the weight of histories preserved in sand and shadow, yet the sensation was soothing rather than heavy. A cozy reminder that understanding and reflection can be both restorative and enlightening. Caleb paused one last time before descending a gentle slope, gazing back at the town now glimmering faintly under the moon. The figure remained ethereal and silent, a guardian of memories, a witness to consequences, a gentle guide through the soft mysteries of Somnus Vale. You, listener, can feel the desert's rhythm enveloping you, the wind's whispering melody aligning with your breath, and the soft presence of the shadowless figure guiding you into deeper calm and relaxation. Inhale serenity, exhale tension, and allow the subtle lessons of the past to carry you further into peace. With the dunes stretching endlessly ahead and the town softly fading behind, Caleb felt a profound stillness settle over him. The shadowless figure remained near, a subtle, constant presence, reminding him and you that the past shapes the present, not to alarm, but to guide, soothe, and teach patience. And as the night carries on, the desert, the shadows, and the whispers of Somnus Vale lull both Caleb and listener into a peaceful, cozy, magical, and calming state, perfectly poised for the final part of this chapter. Caleb descended the gentle slope of the dunes, the moonlight washing over the desert in a soft, silver glow. The wind whispered around him, carrying faint echoes of the town behind him and distant memories preserved in the sands. The shadowless figure remained nearby, a quiet sentinel, blending seamlessly with the undulating terrain. Each step Caleb took seemed to harmonize with the rhythm of the night, a rhythm both gentle and persistent, guiding him through a landscape rich with memory and subtle, supernatural presence. Listener, settle comfortably into your own space. Allow your body to sink gently into your bed or chair. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Inhale, slowly drawing in calm and serenity. Exhale, releasing any tension, worry, or lingering thoughts. Feel the desert night enfold you, the moonlight spilling softly across your awareness, the gentle hum of history and shadow weaving a cozy, peaceful, and magical environment around you. This is your bedtime story, your sleep story, your relaxing story, your guided sleep meditation. Caleb paused atop a small rise, gazing across the dunes as they shimmered beneath the moon. The shadowless figure lingered nearby, almost imperceptibly shifting with the contours of the sand. Caleb felt an odd serenity, as though the desert itself was breathing with him, offering a sense of comfort and quiet understanding. The sand seemed to ripple subtly, carrying faint impressions of those who had walked here before him, travelers, townsfolk, souls tethered to Somnus Vale, each leaving a gentle imprint in the tapestry of night. A soft, almost musical whisper floated on the breeze. It was not sound as we know it, but a resonance of memory, weaving together the echoes of past and present. Caleb inhaled slowly, allowing the desert's rhythm to infuse him with calm. You can feel it too, listener. The subtle undulations of air and sand, the gentle presence of history, the soft guidance of the shadowless figure, all working together to lull your body and mind into a state of deep relaxation. He walked on, each footstep deliberate yet effortless, sinking slightly into the cool, yielding sand. The figure glimmered faintly, reflecting the moonlight, an ethereal companion accompanying him through the silent, serene expanse. Caleb noticed faint traces in the sand, footprints and depressions that seemed both familiar and impossible, hints of journeys that had intersected here across time. The desert was alive with subtle phenomena, magical, peaceful, and undeniably soothing. Caleb paused again, feeling a gentle tug at his awareness. The shadowless figure seemed to direct his attention to a distant ridge, where the dunes formed a quiet amphitheater of moonlight and shadow. Here, the whispers of the past swirled gently, carrying the faint laughter and sighs of long-gone souls, their stories preserved yet soft, never intrusive, always cozy and calming. Each ripple of sand, each flicker of light, became part of a gentle lullaby that invited both Caleb and you, listener, to drift further into serenity. As he descended toward the ridge, Caleb allowed himself to move slowly, absorbing the rhythm of the desert, the harmony of shadows, and the subtle guidance of the figure. Every inhalation drew serenity deeper into his chest. Every exhalation released tension, distraction, and worry. The desert, the moonlight, and the whispers of Somnus Vale wrapped him in a soft embrace, a careful reminder that the night holds both mystery and comfort. Listener, follow this rhythm. Let your awareness dissolve into the gentle movements of the desert. Imagine the shadowless figure nearby, a quiet companion guiding you through the sands of time and memory. Allow the echoes of the past, the subtle shimmer of moonlight, and the soft caress of the desert wind to carry you into calm. Feel the tension leaving your body, your mind softening, your spirit floating gently on the tranquil currents of the night. Caleb reached the edge of the ridge, the dunes stretching endlessly beneath the moon. It's a silver glow. The figure lingered, unmoving yet profoundly present, a guardian of memory, history, and subtle truths. He paused for a moment, breathing deeply, and felt the final, soft pulse of the desert night align with his own heartbeat. You, listener, can feel this alignment too, a gentle synchronization of body, mind, and spirit, cozy, peaceful, and magical, ready to carry you fully into rest. And as Caleb stepped forward, leaving the ridge behind, the shadowless figure remained, a constant whisper of the night's mysteries, a subtle reminder that the world holds both wonder and calm. The dunes, the moonlight, and the gentle winds invite you to surrender completely, letting the day fade away and drifting effortlessly into sleep. Somnus Vale, its shadows, and its secrets now rest beside you, guiding you gently into a relaxing, calming, and deeply restorative slumber.